Hey, what is up guys? Back again with another video. So here we are back again for another Last of Us Uncharted and Naughty Dog related news or topic to talk about. So it's been about 1 or 2 months since I made a video, and I'm usually just kind of busy with my schedule, so I just don't have enough time to make videos as often as I like to. But I've also been kind of a little bit burnt out, as I've probably said previously, but as of right now, I've been wanting to make a video, so I just wanted to talk to you guys about. So let's get started. So Naughty Dog in 2022 has been quite outstanding if you've really kept track of their record. So they released the Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection on PC on Steam, which has been great. I've been waiting for that to come out on PC for so long. It's been about a year since its announcement or so. It's been released on PS5 for a bit now, but it's finally out on Steam, so I'm glad that it's out now. With that said, we have to talk about, of course, the big one, The Last of Us Part 1 remake, which released this year as well, which has been quite outstanding. I'm honestly just thrilled that this game came out and it's even made in the first place, because playing a remake of my favorite game of all time has just been quite nostalgic to me, and also just loving to see everything come back to this game, like obviously the outfits, all the outfits from the original but remade, the modifiers from part 2 brought into The Last of Us. So it's just great to see that I can play around with explosive arrows and just do all kinds of crazy shit in the Last of Us remake. It's pretty great. And we also have to talk about the Last of Us HBO show, which I have not said any sort of word about that show on my channel, but I will say that I'm very excited for the TV show. I'm excited to see what they'll introduce drastically differently from the show, from the games of course, but also introduce all the references. From what I've heard, Ish is going to get introduced, or not introduced, but more like referenced in the show, so excited to see on how they'll reference Ish in the Last of Us HBO show. So I'm very looking forward to that, and I'm just shocked the fact that it's coming out next month. Thought it would be coming out around like May or June or so. I thought it would be like a summer release day, but it's coming out next month, which I'm excited to talk about. I don't know if I will be doing Last of Us HBO discussion videos or not. If not, then most likely we'll be talking about the show itself on my Twitter if you want to go check that out or not. But looking forward to it. And lastly, factions. We didn't get much, of course, for this year. We did get a concept art which looks amazing, sort of showing us where it's taking place, which is in San Francisco. And we will be getting some news on Faction next year, which I am looking very forward to, since that'll be Naughty Dog's brand new multiplayer game coming out next year. Hopefully next year, we'll see, but we'll get news for sure. But besides that though, Naughty Dog has been having a great year so far. I mean, The Last of Us Part 2 came out in 2020, and 2 years later we got The Last of Us Part 1 remake, some Faction news, the HBO show. So yeah, and also, of course, gotta mention Uncharted Legacy of Thieves on PC as well. So it's been pretty good. I mean, Last of Us fans are getting fed so fucking good. It's been great. Meanwhile, Uncharted fans, they're just kind of there. I wish we can get some more Uncharted stuff, but this is what this video is going to be talking about. So with all that said, 2022 for Naughty Dog has been pretty great. But what about 2023? What is going to go on with 2023 for Naughty Dog? With that said, the question's up in the air at the moment. So we know that the HBO show is going to be releasing as of next month, so next year in 2023, which will be the start for content from Naughty Dog in terms of a TV show for The Last of Us, which is crazy to think. But then we'll also be getting some Faction news as of next year, so most likely maybe June or September if we get a PlayStation showcase, or just the news will be shown at another event like the Summer Games Fest, which was where The Last of Us Part 1 and the Faction news was released, so we may see it around the summertime. Makes most sense, but who knows, we could see the news or maybe even trailer even earlier for Factions, who knows, we'll see where that goes. But as of now, what comes after Factions? Well, I wanted to talk about this because it seems pretty likely that this could be the possibility as of what's next for Factions. After the release of Factions, what will we see from Naughty Dog in 2023 or even beyond? Most likely beyond, because these projects will not be likely to come out by 2023, probably by 2025 or 2026, depending on when we'll see an announcement or so not. But this is coming from an actual reliable source, viewer Annan, who talked about this recent discussion about what's going on with Naughty Dog. He tweeted this out just out of nowhere, kind of blatantly, because I guess he didn't get to see a screen link to The Last of Us, which I'm assuming he's discussing about the Last of Us HBO show. but this is what he had to say. If I don't get a screener link to The Last of Us in 10 minutes, I'm going to have to drop a scoop. It's not blackmail, I'd just be too busy watching to tweet. So apparently viewer Annan didn't get a screener link to The Last of Us, I'm assuming the HBO show, so he just dropped the scoop out of nowhere, which he is a reliable source, I will say again. He decided to tweet out, well, I'm not watching anything, so Dr. Uckman's next game is The Last of Us Part 3, which is currently in production at Naughty Dog. Which is just kind of like out of the blues of him just to say just that Last of Us Part 3 is in development at Naughty Dog. And I mean, I have to say, most people will either kind of question whether this is legit or not, which I will say it is most likely legit just because of the fact where it's coming from. Viewer Annan is pretty reliable source when it comes to his stuff. And I mean, you're probably wondering, why is this guy so reliable? Is there some sort of thing that he did in the past? Well, I could let you know that he did first mention about Ashley Johnson playing as Anna in the Last of Us HBO show, and also one of the first people to mention the existence of Crash Bandicoot 4. So this guy does have some reliable source, and he's gotten stuff right in the past. So with that said, I mean, it seems very likely that Naughty Dog is working on The Last of Us Part 3. And if you remember, as of last year, Neil Druckmann himself even stated that The Last of Us 3 is outlined in terms of its writing. So they did start an outline on the writing as of what The Last of Us Part 3 would be about. So just at the fact that they started an outline, meaning that they are starting to slowly start this into production. So we probably won't see The Last of Us Part 3 for a very long time. If anything, maybe 3 to 4 years or so, depending on how long this game will of course take. But also, another interesting thing to point out as well was also the fact of where Uncharted is going to be at the very moment. So, a person in the comments asked viewer Annan, what about Uncharted? A new IP? Their online multiplayer project? Viewer Annan actually replied saying, Uncharted will be handled by another studio. Factions is coming first. Not sure on the new IP. So with that being said, I did make a previous video about a few months ago talking about the state of Uncharted and that Naughty Dog was interested in coming back to it, of course. Obviously, with that said, now it seems like Naughty Dog is not really going to be focusing on Uncharted since they want to give that IP to another studio. So who will the studio be that will be working on the new Uncharted? Well, it's kind of really up in the air as of who it could be. It could likely be the visual arts studios at PlayStation who might be working on this new project. Previously, it was also rumored that Bend Studios was working on a new Uncharted game with Naughty Dog in collaboration, but of course, Bend Studios wanted to get removed from that project, so this new Uncharted game can be potentially be developed by the PlayStation Visual Arts Studios or someone completely new. We don't really, of course, know who would be making the new Uncharted game unless it's still up in the air as of who's making it right now, and PlayStation and Naughty Dog are kind of currently deciding as of who it's going to be, but this new Uncharted game can most likely be developed by the PlayStation Visual Arts Studios. They're the studio that helped out with, of course, like I said, Last of Us Part 1, but also was kind of the starting point for the Part 1 remake and also potentially the Uncharted 1 remake, but of course they decided not to do that because of how expensive it was, so it's possible that the PlayStation Visual Arts Studios could be making this new Uncharted series just from the start, but also collaborating with Naughty Dog to kind of get an outline as of what they want to make for the Uncharted series. Who knows if it could be a soft reboot, which most likely will be. But with that said, though, it's kind of up in the air for what the new Uncharted game will be in terms of its state, as of who is making it or whatnot, and we'll see where it goes from there. And also the mentions of a new IP, I should lastly say, so he does say that he's not sure about the new IP, which is most likely going to happen after Last of Us Part 3, because I'm assuming Naughty Dog would like to take their time on making a brand new IP, of course, because it takes a lot of effort, brand new characters, new settings, new world, new environments and enemies, of course, to encounter, so it must take a lot of time to make a new IP to even, of course, to consider working on that, of course, but who knows where that'll be. Most likely in 2028, 2029, who knows when we'll see that. But Last of Us Part 3 seems to be the likely choice, of course, which, I mean, with it being the biggest franchise Naughty Dog has ever made since, well, Uncharted, it's likely that we will see Last of Us Part 3 inevitably after Factions, of course, and we'll see where Uncharted goes from that point. All of it is pretty exciting stuff, which I'm looking forward to see what this will look like. We'll have to wait to see, of course, for the next 2 or 3 years or so if Last of Us Part 3 will get announced. But if anything, I'm honestly hoping that we see Last of Us Part 3 with its closer near release dates rather than wait for 3 or 4 years for it to release, of course. I'd rather we just see a release date when the game is coming very close, probably within a year or two. But we'll have to wait and see. But other than that though, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Just thought I'd make a video talking about Naughty Dog's potential future and what to expect hopefully pretty soon or within the next few years or so. But until next time, I'll see you guys later.